Welcome to week 1.
Here's just a brief introduction of your pledge board. You have Zachary, who is the head of pledge board, and he is also in charge of points activities. You have Chad, he is the study mentor and in charge of binder checks. Courtney is in charge of quizzes, and Brianna, who is your secretary.
The pledge process is a 10-week pledge process. We have weekly Wednesday meetings. We have points activities and quizzes, which will also be given weekly. Dress up days on Tuesdays, business, professional, or casual. And once you receive your pledge jersey, you'll be required to wear that on Wednesdays. And we also have dues.
Your pledge book. Every pledge is required to create and maintain a pledge book throughout the semester. By the end of the semester, your pledge book should portray a sense of the fraternity's past, present, and future. Your pledge book will be a 3-ring binder, preferably 1 to 1.5 inch, with 6 sections. You will carry this binder from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. as of ASAP.
Personal information. This section will contain a page explaining your reasoning for joining Phi Chi Theta and your resume.
The next section is fraternity information. This section will contain items listed on the fraternity information sheet, agendas, calendars, and your pledge manual.
Interviews. This section will contain interviews that you conduct during the semester. You will create 10 interview questions for members and 10 different questions for pledges. You will also create 5 questions to interview your professors. These questions need to be pre-approved by the head of pledge board.
Quizzes. This section will contain all of your completed quizzes. These quizzes will take place on a weekly basis and will cover fraternity information.
Points. This section will contain all of your completed points activities. Each points activity will have 2 parts that must be completed on time to receive full credit.
Forms. This section will contain all official Phi Chi Theta papers. Examples are your Big Little sheet, quote sheet, social events, and risk management.
Grades. You will have points activities, quizzes, binder checks, and a final, all adding up to 2,300 points. You need an 80% or 1,840 points overall grade to be considered for membership.
Attendance. It is very important that you are punctual. You are required to be at all Wednesday meetings. Meetings are in room 134 in the Smith-Hudson building. They start at 7 p.m. And for any meeting that you cannot attend, the head of pledge board needs to be notified 24 hours in advance. And if an emergency pops up, just let us know as soon as you know.
Requirements. You are required to attend induction, so congratulations, you have already completed that. Screening board, 2 out of 3 highway cleanups, all guest speakers, all fundraisers, including member fundraisers, 4 social events, 5 study sessions, field day,
Pledge retreat, your big and little party, 3 big and little events, member pledge dinner, 1 on-campus professional event, the etiquette dinner, banquet, and initiation.
Now, this may seem like a lot, but for instance, for socials, we have 10 to 15 of those planned. So you only have to attend 4. And also, remember, this is a 10-week pledge process, so this will go by fast.
Big brother or sister. Each pledge is assigned to a big brother or sister. This member will be your confidant during the process. You will complete 3 big little social events throughout the semester.
Pledge button, pledge rock. The pledge button is a symbol of loyalty to Phi Chi Theta. This needs to be visible Monday through Friday between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. You are required to return pledge button upon completion of the pledge process. If you lose your button, the replacement cost is $5, and you will be asked to complete a task by the head of pledge board. Um, just a quick tip, I would recommend that you put your pledge button on your backpack or your purse, or something that you carry to school with you every day. That way you'll never forget it.
Screening board and evaluations. What screening board is just something that you really just have to find out for yourself. It can happen at any time, so just be ready, and it can be over anything that is in your pledge book. Evaluations most times happens mid-pledge process, just to give you a heads up of, your attendance and your grades and things you may need to work on if you actually want to be a member.
The Pledge Council Board. Much like our Executive Council Board, you, as a pledge class, will also have a president, a vice president, treasurer, and secretary. The duties of each consist of the following. For the president, they are in charge of attendance and making sure everyone has everything they need. What we mean by that is the president's responsibility is to make sure that people are dressed up on Tuesdays, pledge jerseys are worn on Wednesdays, that they maintain and keep their pledge pin and pledge rock, and just make sure that everyone is ready for the Wednesday meeting. The vice president is responsible for attendance as well if the president cannot be there. They are also responsible for the weekly quote. The weekly quote is to be submitted to myself, Brianna Clark, through email the Tuesday night, no later than 11 p.m. The treasurer, they track the pledge balance and they count the money box. And the secretary, they take weekly minutes and do text reminders. For instance, for the social this Friday, a good thing the secretary would do is either the night before or the day of remind everyone, hey guys, we have a social tonight at the forum.
Grades and attendance. Quizzes, points activities, and binders are all graded out of 100 points. This combined with your final, merits, and demerits make up your final grade. Merits are something that you can get only from members when you do something that's really good, really impresses us, and shows that you're doing really good in your pledge process. Demerits is the complete opposite. This takes away from your grade because you're obviously not representing our fraternity in a good way. So, yeah, don't get demerits. School and work are always valid excuses for absences. However, the calendar has been made a semester in advance, so any accommodations that need to be made should be done as soon as possible.
Quote. So this will be placed on your quote sheet, and it reads the following. The only place success comes before work is in the dictionary. Vince Lombardi.
Binder. Your first binder check will be on February 11th at your meeting. The outline of the binder is as follows. Personal information, fraternity information, interviews, quizzes, points activities, and forms. Note that in personal information, interviews means resume.
Study mentor, which is Chad. Study sessions for this week are Monday 3:30 to 4:30 and Tuesday 5 to 6. They will be split into two parts. The first 30 minutes will be dedicated to your schoolwork, and the second 30 minutes will be dedicated to preparing for next week's quiz. If you cannot make any of these times and you haven't already made arrangements with Chad, please call or text him at that number.
Your first quiz will be next week. They will be over pledge board, your qualifications. In your pledge manual, you will see on the back of the first page, I believe it says member requirements, and it just includes like the 2.5 GPA, so forth and so on. Also, specific dress days. This includes Tuesdays and Wednesdays, even though you do not have your pledge jerseys yet. It would also cover the creed, which is something that is said after every meeting, so you all need to learn this early. You also will be tested over 2 members, first and last name, who are not on Executive Council Board or Pledge Board. Note that these names do need to be spelled correctly in order for you to get the points.
Your first points activity is to introduce yourself to 15 Phi Chi Theta members. You will have them sign a sheet confirming that you met them. You will also get names and phone numbers of your pledge trainer, pledge board, executive council board, and all pledges. Note that the pledge trainer is a typo and that is the head of pledge board. This is due February 11th at 7:15 p.m.
Field Day. This is a mandatory event. We understand if you cannot make it, but just please let us know as soon as you know that you cannot make it. Therefore, we can kind of work with you. It's scheduled for February 28th, 2015. Our exact time is to be announced, but we do have a big time gap reserved at the place, so maybe try and get all day taken off if you can.
Pledge retreat. Make sure to mark your calendars that is April 10th through the 12th. This is a weekend, so if you are working, please make arrangements for this time block to be requested off.
Your first dues. Yesterday there was a $15 initiation fee due. If you were not there, you could not pay it. Of course, there is the Phi Chi Theta store that will be talked about later that you can pay that on. Next week, you will have another $15 due for your shirts. We ask that you please get those in so that you can get your shirts as soon as possible. Note, the shirt fee counts towards your $50 local fees.
Upcoming dates. So we have a movie night this Friday, February 6th at 6 p.m. at the Forum. We have a Valentine's Day big sale from February 11th through the 12th. You will sign up for time slots via Google Drive. We have a Valentine's Day social, which is February 12th. Our first trash pickup is February 15th. Note the time does say 11 a.m. However, that is the time that we need to be at site. So we meet at 10:30 a.m. in front of the J.C. Penney's and we leave promptly at 10:45. So make sure you're there on time to follow us to the site. We have 2 socials planned. The places are to be determined on February 15th and February 23rd. And as previously mentioned, we have our field day February 28th. Also, I'm going to do a brief overview of the pledge portal. This was introduced to you all at this week's meeting. So here is the home page. If you click on learn more, you'll learn a little bit about what pledge portal is all about. Our Phi Chi Theta motto. Media. I will be taking pictures throughout the semester of your pledge process. So you can see the progression of your process here. Mission statement, purpose, and creed. Here is also a week at a glance. So if you click on Friday, you'll see we already have movie night on the calendar for you. Helpful videos. Here you will find videos that will help you throughout your pledge process. Currently, we have 3 videos for Google Drive, how to work on your computer, your iPhone, your Android, and how to work Hangouts. Weekly overview is the video that we're recording right now, and this section will basically just tell you what went on this week. Meet the members. You'll become very familiar with Pledge Board as you will see us every week, but we are a larger member base than just that. Here is our Executive Council Board and our general member base. Now, please note that this group is the group that you need to get the 2 names for your quiz this week. Documents and more. Because this does hold sensitive information that is only for our fraternity, it is password protected. The password is Spring15. It is all in lowercase letters with a star at the end. So Spring15 star. Here you will find the weekly PowerPoint, copies of points activities, binder checks, links, and important documents. Now, all the documentation that you did receive at the first meeting can be found here. So, it is your responsibility if that paper gets damaged or lost for you to go here, print it out, and place it where it needs to go within your binder. The Phi Chi Theta store. The Phi Chi Theta store is where you'll be able to purchase paraphernalia as well as pay your dues. So say you wanted to make your second payment, you will just click on second payment, add it to the basket, go to your basket, and put your name here, and just check out. And that completes the review of week 1. We look forward to seeing you for week 2.